Hey there, folks. This is a collection of work in progress and close-up pictures, videos of the Arcane library called Kneblorum. It took about a year to build. I'd recommend you watch the final product video first up on our Patreon and YouTube channels by now, as the final pictures will give you a kind of context for these construction pictures. And seeing as this is an unscripted video, please keep your expectations nice and low. The finished product. We'll start with a pretty picture of an orc standing in front of an Arcane library. And there's my Christmas elf hat that I never did end up using the Christmas elf. Picture of the vaporizer that I used. Need a higher power one next time I do this. It's just me testing it. You'll see tons and tons of testing pictures in here. I was constantly building something, testing it. There's the first shots of the bell ringing mechanism. And for some reason, a picture of my micrometer. Some more testing pictures. You'll see things are starting to take some shape. The bottom mountains are blocked in. Bell ringing is being tested again. That was constant. There's the wiring for all 3 floors, trying to figure out where I'm going to put it in, how get it into the electronic vault. That's a picture of the electronic vault. Good, just kind of rough cut. Testing picture. A little bit more progress done on things. The castle up on stilts. This was what I did just before I mounted it permanently. And the little post-it notes on the castles were timings for battery duration. Another pretty picture. Another pretty picture in process. That's clearly toward the end of the project. Me working on the front sidewalk on one of the many internal pictures. A lot of people won't see a lot of the detail, but that's okay. I know it's there. The carpets were printed on tissue paper. I was trying to see if I couldn't get a good, kind of Persian rug look there. A lot of these pictures have tons of dust in them, but the building just experienced an explosion, so you would expect it to be dusty. More books and more books. I think there's over 300 books in the library in total, all of them handmade. The books that are just up on the shelf, they don't open, so those were easier to make. The ones where you see on their side or standing up, where you see the actual pages, that was a little bit more difficult, but still manageable. Those are harder to mass produce than the ones on the shelves where you don't have to see the pages. You'll see some of the crates lying around. There's little bits and bobs and greebles and gubbins everywhere. The more the better. Some more of the living area with all the luggage and beds. I'll do a video on how to make those beds. It's pretty easy. And it looks good at the end of it. I hate the doors on the 2nd and 3rd floor, but so be it. More pictures of the same crates for some reason. And more books. Another picture of one of the Persian rugs I tried to make out. And here you see the ladder that gets up to the belfry. So that's where the bell ringer would actually climb up into the belfry. Here you're looking down into the meeting area. That's the speaker's pulpit down on the altar. Again, very dusty, but that's by design. Some pictures of the Primarchs. I think I got them all in there. On this here, you'll see to the right, that's a picture of the Emperor. Doesn't really show up here that well. There's a better picture of it. Each of the corner Pringles cans has the spiral stairs built in them, but I hate the way they came out, so I'm glad you can't really see them. But I'd never built those before, so that was a learning for me. Some more book pictures. You start to see some stuff, little piece of fabric and paper, some paper spilled. That was just printed out and then washed with an ink. Oh, and the bridge I hate. I never did like this bridge, but it's done now. I'd do it a lot differently next time I do something like that. Don't like that bridge. Hurts me to see that picture. And some of the breadboard work I did. So all the circuits were tested before they were installed. Here's a ceiling of an upside down a shot of an upside down ceiling, and me testing all the loads to the various electronic devices. And this is the 2nd floor library, just about ready to be sealed up. Needs some more bits and bobs added and some dustiness to it to add before it gets bottled up. But yeah, looks like a library. Very early picture without the castle tops, the turret tops done. You can see all the rough cut mountains at the bottom. A little bit further along, I've got some of the batter down at the bottom of the castle now in place. That was all handmade and then cast. Another Borg pick, so you'll see wiring all over the place all the time. Me testing the stained glass lights. And I think this was me building the final, the tall spire. Another picture of me testing the motor unit, or for the bell ringer. Don't like that motor. Shouldn't have used that motor. Should have got one with a lower RPM and quieter. Testing the lights at night so you can see things nicely. And then, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the bell's ringing up there at the top. Tested constantly. I was deathly afraid of building something and it ruining a mechanism somewhere. Another shot of me testing the bell. And then I'm starting to build in the bell assembly and gearbox and motors and whatnot. Hey, here's a picture of me. Aren't I handsome? There's another picture of me with glasses on. And this is a better picture of the motor assembly, the bell ringer assembly in the Spire. That circuit board on the left-hand side is an MP3 player, little SD card in there, $5 little hamburger speaker, and then I'm actually injecting distilled water into the vaporizer. Had to be distilled water or it would gum up the vaporizer within about a half hour, and you had to clean it. Real pain in the ass to clean. So yeah, so this is the first time I ever used an MP3 player, and I was quite pleased with it, with the results of it. And then you see the motor and gearing assembly in action there. I'm pleased with the gearing assembly and the design and whatnot, but I hate that motor. It's too loud and it's... wires, and more wires. Me using multiple multimeters, check amperage and voltage across many of the different circuits. So the silver tube thing that's the sonic detector. It's a little sonar that measures how far an object is in front of it. One's the transmitter, one's the receiver. And there's a picture of me building the motor driver, or building the motor driver circuit. I didn't actually build the motor driver, I bought it. Early on with the electronic vault, you see where the Arduino is going to go. Early picture of the dungeon that nobody will see. You can access it, but nobody knows how to access it. And then I'm starting to build the walkway lights. Another Borg picture. Again, always testing. Build, test, build, test. So the electronics vault starting to flesh out now. And you'll see more of the electronics vault and the dungeon on the right-hand side. And if somebody's clever, they'll figure out how to open the door to see the dungeon. And then there's the castle up on stilts. It's actually strung from the ceiling in case the stilts gave way. I didn't want to drop it. And I'm starting to figure out where all the wiring should go in the base now at this point. And you can see the electronics vault is getting more and more populated. More and more populated. There you see the battery shot of the battery at the top left. Oh, there's the finished dungeon. I was pleased with that. Looked pretty good. I'm pleased with that. Although the dungeon lights were a little too bright. I'd do that a little bit differently. Here you got some color on the ground, only because I like to see a little bit of life come to the model after staring at blank styrofoam for 6 months. That's me testing the bell mechanism. So you'll see me put my hand in on the left-hand side, just in front of the sonar devices, and then the bell turns on. Everything's held together with painter's tape. Yeah, because I never wanted to permanently close something that I'd have to maintain on a regular basis. This is the damage wall. So after building the castle wall, I had to cut it apart so you can see the damaged side, and then that would expose the interior, and you get a good shot of the interior. So that's me working on the front. I was bored one day, so I decided I was going to put an open grave there. You can see the damage hole now there where the bomb went off. This is the electronics vault just before I seal it up. It's quite the rat's nest. There's another shot of the finished dungeon next to the rat's nest before it gets sealed up. And for some reason, a picture of the motor, the bell assembly at night, for some reason. And this is the bell itself. I think 10 of them at Dollarama cost me like $3. I wanted to use the Skaven Plaguebearer bell, but there's too expensive for me to buy just for this. Oh, this is me making leaves. And then these were then used for the clinging vines. Those are the clinging vines. I'll do a video one day on how those were made. They're actually real simple. This is me building a bus bar system for the sidewalk lights. Sidewalk lights, because I didn't want to run all the individual street lights back to the main power assembly. The front door, that's actually real flooring resin that was used to make that marble look. And that's that. Thanks, folks. I hope I didn't put you to sleep. And if I did, at least I added some value to your life.
The Emperor wishes you a lovely day.